I still remember the first time I saw RM back when BTS was still that underdog group trying to break through. There was something about Namjoon, the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, the way he felt, not just thought but felt. And now, all these years later, here he is gracing the cover of Harper's Bazaar as Bottega Veneta's global ambassador. 3 covers, 3 different styles, 1 message. His presence is untouchable. But beyond the high fashion and polished images, it's what he said that shook me. When do I feel most alive? He was asked, and his answer, it wasn't about the lights, or the fame, or even the applause. It was raw. It was human. It was Namjoon, he said, as RM of BTS. I feel it's when I'm performing, when I've just released an album, or when I stand confidently in front of my fans. Of course, we've seen that version, the confident leader, the poetic performer, the man who turns pain into lyrics and healing into music. But it was the second part that hit differently. As Kim Namjoon, it's when I feel like I'm becoming closer to my true self without hesitation while being with people I care about. That sentence lives rent-free in my heart. You can feel how torn he is between the global icon and the quiet soul who just wants a moment of peace. Who wants to walk down a random street in another country, unnoticed? Who wants to work on his music, not because he has to, but because he wants to? Who travels not to escape the world, but to find himself, only to realize he still misses home, always. This is why we love him, not just because he leads BTS, not just because he writes lyrics that feel like love letters to our souls, but because he lets us in, even a little. Because he reminds us that even when the world wants you to be one thing, polished, perfect, photogenic, you can still choose to be you, unfiltered, unafraid. And that's why when BTS says they're preparing for a full group comeback next year, my heart skips a beat, because RM will be back, both as the man with the mic and as the soul behind the words. When the news dropped about Park Bom stepping away from To Anyone's activities, my heart genuinely sank. It's one of those headlines that stops you in your tracks, not because it's shocking, but because it's painful. You know that feeling when you've been waiting for something, really waiting, and just when it's about to happen, life throws a curveball. That's what this feels like. To Anyone was finally rising again. The energy was back. The fans were ready. Seeing them perform together again felt like a dream, being stitched back together piece by piece. And just when we thought we'd finally get that full moment, Park Bom has to step away. But here's the thing, she needs to. And that matters more than any stage. D-Nation, her agency, didn't sugarcoat it. They said it straight. This is about health, about stability, about listening to doctors, and most importantly, about listening to Bom herself. I know the timeline has been wild lately. People speculating, judging, assuming. But let's cut through that noise. Park Bom has been through a lot, more than most of us will ever understand. The pressure, the expectations, the brutal spotlight, it doesn't just fade. Especially for someone as vulnerable and open-hearted as Bom. And if now is the time, she needs to pause. Then as fans, as Blackjacks, we pause with her. That doesn't mean the stage goes dark. CL, Minzy, and Sondara Park will keep shining. They'll carry that To Anyone banner proudly, performing at Waterbomb Bali this September. And you just know they'll do it with Bom in their hearts, because that bond, it doesn't break just because someone's not physically there. What hits me most is that this isn't just about a singer taking a break. This is about a woman choosing herself, her health, her peace, and that deserves so much respect. Bom recently appeared in public and, of course, the internet exploded with opinions, as always. But behind every clip, behind every photo, there's a person, a real one. One who's been trying her whole life to give us her voice, her vulnerability, her soul. So, if you're a real fan, this is the moment. You don't ask for more. You just send love. Quietly, steadily, fiercely. We'll be here, Bom. When you're ready, when you're strong, when you're you again. You know that ache you get in your chest when something just feels too real. That's exactly how I felt when I saw that clip of Soobin, the leader of TXT, opening up at a fanzine in Taiwan. No dramatic music, no PR filters, just Soobin being Soobin. A fan asked him what kind of Nuna she was to him, and his answer, it wasn't playful, it wasn't fan service, it was honest, maybe honest. He said that the Nunas who used to show up for him regularly, consistently had slowly disappeared over time, quietly, no explanations, just gone. And he remembers every face, every moment. And that's what stings the most. He's not upset, he's grateful. He thanked the fan in front of him for still being there, for not vanishing. He told her, "You're a good Nuna." You guys, this isn't just about a fan and an idol. This is about human connection in an industry built on constant change. Because here's the thing, idols don't forget. Especially the soft ones like Soobin. Especially at fan signs where the crowd is small. Where faces are familiar, where love shows up in person. Not just through likes and comments. And when those familiar faces stop coming, it's not just business. It's personal. It's the kind of quiet loss that leaves no closure, no goodbye, no explanation, just absence. And still, Soobin doesn't resent it. He just reflects. And that's what breaks me. He wonders if it was something he did. He carries that weight even while smiling on stage. Even while leading one of the biggest fourth-gen groups in the world. This is what people forget. Idols aren't just performers. They feel things deeply. They bond. They remember. So too all the fans who think, it doesn't matter if I leave, they'll never notice. They do. Especially the ones like Soobin, who still say thank you, who still call you a good Nuna. And that, right there, is why we stay. Not out of guilt, not out of habit, but because we're part of their story, just like they're part of ours. There's something about watching your favorite group grow older that hits different, especially when it's Red Velvet. When Yeri sat down recently for an interview about her new chapter as an actress, everyone knew the question was coming. What happens to Red Velvet now? Because if you've been paying attention, you'd know she and Wendy are no longer with SM. Irene, Soolji, and Joy, they re-signed. So naturally, the fandom's been buzzing. Are we witnessing the slow fade of one of the most iconic girl groups of the third gen? Yeri didn't dodge the question. She never does. She said, of course, if our schedules line up, we should definitely do it. The fans are waiting. That one sentence gave us hope, but it was what she said next that brought reality into the room. It's a bit different now. Back at SM, everything was planned. We just had to show up. Now there's no set timeline. And that is the shift. That moment you realize the engine that used to keep your favorite group running like clockwork isn't there anymore. The group still exists. The love is still real. But now it's about effort, timing, coordination, and let's be honest, willingness. She said they still laugh when they meet. That it still feels good. And you can tell she meant it. But as a fan, this is where the emotional whiplash kicks in. Because we want to believe. We need to believe that they'll come back, that the music isn't over, that the stages will light up again with all 5 of them. But we've seen this story before. Girls' generation. To anyone. Miss A, the hiatus that turns into silence. The subtle drifting apart masked as individual schedules. The waiting that becomes wondering. And yet, Yeri's words didn't feel like a goodbye. They felt like a soft promise, not now, but someday. And maybe that's enough. Maybe as fans, we learn to hold space for both things. The fierce love that wants another comeback, and the quiet respect for their individual growth. Because let's be real, Yeri isn't just the mechne anymore. She's an actress, a writer, a force on her own. And she's doing what so many idols are afraid to do. She's walking her own path. Still, in the corners of her words, you could feel it. She wants to be back with the girls. She's just waiting like us for the right moment. So until then, we hold on to the laughter she mentioned. We hold on to the love. And we wait not in sadness, but in faith that Red Velvet isn't over ... not by a long shot.